You're watching Straight Black Love Talk with your host, DC Radical One, the home of intelligent, mature relationship conversations.
Okay. This is not an easy question. I have seen over the last few years, actually longer than that, sisters have had a tendency to protect the homophiles in the community. I'm just going to ask you as a sister, do you have any reason why you think that is? Why Black women have been so protective of these people over
Yes,
the 20 years or so?
yes, that's an excellent question. And the roots of it, of course, is feminism, right? Because we know that Black women, by and large, have sold into the lies of feminism and women empowerment, which has really just put them in another slavery. So so we had, the bell hooks, the Alice Walkers. During the first wave of feminism, they went into the college institutions and infiltrated the minds of Black women. So they targeted Black women specifically, right? We know that, you all teach on that they were, CIA planted them, right? So that was their mission, was to do that. And when you read the information from Bell Hooks, it is very evident that that was her mission, right? Because she talks about it explicitly, about the minds and the psyche of Black women and their love for their community and their family, and how that needed to be switched to career driven. And I'm like, someone planted that for her, right? She was paid, right? Yeah. So that's the deeper roots of it. So then when you get generations that come from that, you get the modern Amazonian woman. So these are the daughters of feminists, right? So this information comes out of my 7-year initiation. My teacher was Master Yao Morris, and he goes over this in his book, Awakening the Master Feminine. So it talks about the decline of femininity, and that's essentially what has happened, right? So basically trading off to career driven, self-empowerment, so that, crossing over into homosexuality, those two things intertwine, right? And they have to do that. It's because it's a concept of selling your soul. So to do that, you can't not be for that, right? And then also the concept of hatred of men, right? We know that when you embody feminism, you have a hatred of masculinity. It's an attack on, Black male masculinity. So they're going to be the front lines and the cheerleaders for Black men being, gay, homosexuality, anything that suppresses their manhood, right? Because they are taking on the role of wanting to be a man, because that's what it means to them to have that equality and dominance, is to be that of a man. That's what equality means to them. So,
All right. That's a very comprehensive answer. Sister Najee, are you technically ready now? You're muted. Oh, okay.
I believe I'm ready now.
All right. Well, first of all, greetings.
Peace.
Your background is mighty bright there.
It's white.
Yeah, I was going to say you don't have a dimmer in that room.
Um,
So, well, I'll ask you the same. Well, let me backtrack because you missed a couple of questions.
mhm.
So I'm gonna ask a question that you're not gonna like, because I know you. But what's your favorite love song?
You would start with that. That's what's funny. Come Home is my favorite love song at the moment. I know y'all don't know the song.
Who
It's a
who's the artist?
Hold on. Let me pull it up. It's gonna take me a minute. Next question. I'll put it in the chat.
No, the next question is why do you think that Black women nowadays um, protect homophiles? And they have for maybe about 20 years or so. They protect specifically the male homophiles in the Black community.
Because they're on the same team. Just they're on the same team. They work for the same purpose. They have the same goals. They have the same interests. They work for the same team.
Okay. Next question. There are a lot of women who are knowingly or unknowingly sharing men. Why do you think that so many women are publicly against organized polygamy, but privately for unregulated polygamy? I'll call it.
Well, this goes back to the feminism. So the feminism that's practiced today is subliminal feminism. So they practice a girl code. So the moment a black woman says, I am going to uplift the black man so that he can be in the highest and greatest version of his masculine self by sharing him with my sister, a shared love with him, that's going to automatically separate the line with her, with the feminist, because they're for women empowerment. So it's this concept of, again, it's subliminal and it's spiritual. So the warfare today is spiritual. And so that's why I always take the stance that for a black woman, you are not pro black family if you are not pro polygamy as a solution for black American people. As we see, right, what's happening with our families today, right, single mother households, all of the statistics that comes out of that, right, that put us at a disadvantage, in this country. So it's really it goes back to feminism, and them protecting the girl code and not wanting to be outlined, or also taking a stance, right? Because in war you have to take a stance. So you have women that's on the fence. They don't want to publicly say it. They don't want to do it. And I know this because I do the work, right? That's my purpose. So I know black women who have lived this lifestyle, but they won't say it. They won't talk about it. They will not educate their sisters about it. Then you're part of the problem, right? You're still on the fence. You have to pick a side. So that's, really what it comes down to, because we are at a spiritual war. So I hope that answered the question.
Very much so. Sister Naja, you have anything to add to that?
I would second everything Sister Asha says. The way you worded the question is interesting, because I don't think that there's a lot of women that are behind closed doors happy about what they're going through. I think there's a lot of women behind closed doors upset. And when we see that, when we see I would say toxic femininity of people slashing tires and, breaking windows and doing all this other stuff because they're unhappy with the supposed quote unquote infidelity. So I thought it was interesting the way that you worded it. I also feel as if, because we don't, if you're not already in the nationhood that is practicing polygamy, it's a completely foreign concept, and we have a lot of examples of how it shouldn't work in the forefront. And so a lot of people automatically dismiss it because they're like, oh, nah, I'm not trying to be no sister wife. I'm not trying. Or, we have real life examples of it being used against women. It goes completely against, like Sister said, the subtle feminism that we all have been ingrained with because of U.S., schooling systems. There's this idea that if I'm not getting at least equal in a relationship or more, then that's a relationship that's bad for me. And there's a lot of men that are taking advantage of women. So I think a lot of people just in general try to step back from the whole system. They don't see it as, wow, this was an ancient system that has worked to keep communities together. Nobody is teaching that. It's always from the perspective of the man get to have multiple women. So, and then that's it. We don't get into the ancient teachings of it.
Okay. I got a question. This next question was inspired by a video I saw earlier today. Now, there's this video going around where a sister, I would use the term loosely, claims that she is so pro-black that she can't find anyone that's black enough on her level. So her pro-blackness has advanced her to being with the European. I'm just going to ask a simple question. Is there any way possible for a person to be pro-black and in an interracial relationship?
No.
No, I take the stance that you're now practicing something else, right? So you're in a mixed race group now, especially when we talk about procreation.
Sister Najee, or did you already answer?
I said no. Yeah.
Okay. Either one of y'all, would y'all like to try to elaborate on what type of shenanigans this person is trying to pull? Because I just found it hilarious. I just found it ridiculous.
Yeah, so the first thing that came to mind for me is a tactic to defend her lifestyle, right? So, there's no way you can, right, try to do that. But, people are so in their ego, right? And it's no way you can cover it up. But, she has to, I would say a lot of people find it hard to look at themselves in the mirror, right? So especially we talk about the modern world we live in, it's a world of illusions, right? And Black women have been sold so many lies. So for her to face the reality, like her sleeping at night and her to look at herself in the mirror, she wouldn't even be living a lifestyle like that. So she have to say something. Like she has to say something to continue to just live, right, and defend the lifestyle that she's living. So it's a contradiction, the what she's saying to her lifestyle, and that's a symptom of someone living in their ego and believing the false illusion, that the lies that they've been told. So yeah.
Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow us on our other social media platforms. On Instagram, we're at dc.radical, the numeral 1. On Twitter, we're at dc_radical_ONE. And the Cashapp is $DC Radical 1. Again, thank you for subscribing. Abibi for ODA.